Hello and welcome to the breakdown on the ThePapare. This is the second breakdown that we are bringing you in this Dialog Rugby League 2015-16. It's turning out to be a hotly contested league already because we've had an upset win on Friday. We've had a win which might relegate people to lesser positions than they thought they might be on Saturday, and we've got thrashings as well happening. Some really entertaining rugby. Sabir, let's start with the original match that we had this week, and that was Navy versus Army at home. Navy generally very difficult to beat in Valisara, but Army doing the unthinkable there.
Absolutely, Shanaka. Even in the papers, it was said that Navy as a favorites. Even you and I predicted Navy as favorites. But last week we were talking about Ashoka Jayalal's fitness level. That although he played 80 minutes, he was good enough to only 50-55 minutes. But he made a point for you and me and all of us, Shanaka. He scored the last try because Army were dominating in the last 5 minutes. After 20-22 phases, he scored the last try. That shows his courageousness.
Yeah, it looks like Army are improving week by week. We talked to Mbola Ferretti on the weekend as well, and he's working on a few basic things, and that's why Army are able to do this. So he was he was quite happy with the win, but he says he would have liked it to come a little bit earlier than the last minute. But 18-17 is how this one finished, and at halftime, Navy were trailing nevertheless, 13 points to 5. Do you think it's an experience factor as well, Sabir? Because Army are a side that has been together for quite some time. Navy full of schoolboys, guys getting to know each other initially. That's maybe that was part of the problem for them, but a win that they would have expected to get.
Absolutely, Shanaka. But experience-wise, Navy had the experience, but it's only Omalka Gunaratna who started from the forwards. He's the only standout player, Shanaka. Every first defender he was beating, every first defender, and he's taking 3-4 players into him. And it shows, on the other hand, Shanaka, he gave 2 turnovers because he didn't have support. He was holding on to the ball, so that shows the experience are too slow to come and support him. That is one thing. And also in the attacking line, they missed Shanaka Shandimal, who's the playmaker. Unfortunately, he was not there. Dev Anand could not control as much as expected to his experience because every time Navy with the ball in hand, they were so flat in the attacking line. And I saw few passes which Dev Anand delivered to the line. It was forward, but referee missed that on that occasion. And also the other thing is Navy coming back into this game, Shanaka, when Army had 2 yellow cards. One is Dinusha Aryapala with an intentional knock-on, and other one is Kamesh Fernandez. So they were down to 13. They're playing against 15, and that is where Navy scored 2 back-to-back tries. So credits for the last few minutes of play, and credits for the first half display by Navy and Gayan Salin. Once again, he was so good with the ball in hand. And also his opposite number, well, rather opposite center, Lee Kegel, I think he went much into contact, and every time he got the ball, he didn't see Dinusha Fernando trying to make some space and give him way. He went to contact, but he's losing out contact without any support. So these are the things that Coach Nilfa Ibrahim surely made note of it, and we'll see. It'll be interesting how they're going to tackle the Havelocks next week.
Maybe they had a little bit of an easy week at training, thinking that Army wouldn't be as a bigger threat as they would otherwise have been. And the tries scored for Navy by Yoshida Rajapaksa, Suranka Pushpakumara and Dinusha Chaturanga. Those last 2 tries were scored in when they had a 2-man advantage, and Ashoka Jala scoring the final try, Madhu Shantandasekara and Gayan Salinda also getting among the points for the Army guys. Watch out for this lad. He might be someone to watch for in the future at fullback for Sri Lanka. And then we had another match between Police and CHNFC, and Police showing that last week's or 2 weeks ago their loss to Havelocks was something unexpected. It was a big loss. They didn't expect that to happen, and they're showing that they really got some strength. 62 points to nil is how they won. Bilal Hassan with 4 tries, Riza Mubarak with 6 conversions as well. So pretty much all the points coming from one household there, Sabir. And Sidam Surya Rachi also scoring 2 tries, Chula Susanta 2 tries, Gihan Silva 1 try, and Mohammad Sharif also getting in the action. How do you find Sharif playing at number 10? Is that something that will make Police better as they go forward, or will it be something that will slow them down?
That will make better because Sharif have played in number 10 before, and even in the first match, the mistakes what he did was he was not sure whether to pass to the centre Mushin Falil or whether to get Shardo Fernando into contact. That's where he missed the ball, and Danush Ranjan, as a result, took the loose ball and he went in the try. So hopefully this match would have given them some confidence, because you don't have to pass, you don't have to kick, especially you are playing against age. So running game shows that 10 tries also shows. So probably that's a good choice. Especially it will be interesting because Sharif and Fadil, they have played in the same team, they have played in the same national place and in the mercantile team. So it will be interesting how Fazil and Sharif take on next week.
Going to be very interesting one, definitely, and that's the match that we're going to really look forward to. But police have shown that they're a team to be reckoned with this season. They're a team that was really good in the early 90s and even the mid 90s, and now they're coming back into that sort of position that we would expect them to be. But the match of the week that we thought it was going to be, Sabir, unfortunately didn't happen. Well, the match happened, but it didn't turn out to be the match of the week. Havelocks winning quite easily by 34 points to 18. 4 tries Havelock scored, got their bonus point as well, and a 100% kicking record from Rims and Jamaldeen, converted all 4 tries and got 2 penalties over as well. And Sia could only manage the 3 tries and the 1 penalty, so they didn't convert a single try. Prince Chamara having an off day with the boot. But Rimsey, our man of the match on the day, coming through, kicking all those points, and only 3 weeks without an off season as well, shows the talent of the guy.
Absolutely, Shanak. And in fact, it was Samantha Lakshan who did all the kickings in the first game. But Rimsey, maybe it's a very good move by Laga. He would have the confidence of Rimsey, and also taking Niroshan Fernando, even he didn't play the first match. So it's a good sign that he's coming back into the form. Now he has so much options to take now, whether to use Samantha Lakshan in the next match or still keep him out of the squad. But having said that, Shanaka, for me, it was a game between the two scrummers who swapped the clubs, Rahul and Costa. But they both did really well. In fact, Costa putting Rahul on the scrum under pressure, and he took the loose ball and he went to score the try. And also Rahul showing later on in the game, he also can make some tries.
Yes, it was pretty clear that CRNFC wanted to get under the skin of Rahul De Silva. He's a guy who had just left the club, so they wanted to make it known that he's coming back to a place where he was not welcome. And although they did manage to do that, especially Costa's first try, they really put him under pressure. They charged him down. They were giving him a few knocks off the scrum, all legal stuff. But the fact is that he managed to come through in the end, and he scored the try. So the last laugh, and when he points to the scoreboard against some of his ex-teammates, he will really be having that last laugh, because it was a convincing 16 points victory. But although you can try to get under the skin of some people, Sabir, I think there was one incident which we should talk about. Lahiri Pavitra stamping on the head of Rahul De Silva. That was really not something that should have happened in the game, and I believe there's going to be a sighting and an inquiry about that.
Yes, indeed. We have the inquiry later today, Tuesday around 6 p.m. with the SLRFU stuff. So probably, I think, Shanaka, that would be a minimum of 3 to 4 match ban. And I don't know how much it's going to cost to MT Marika's team, especially finding a hooker. And also the other interesting point is, Shanaka, I went through the first tight 5 weight of both the packs. Sia had 539 kg, whereas Havis had only 509 kg. That shows 30 kg more to CRNFC. But we were talking about the mobility. Even with Bilal, you were talking in the commentary, because Sia, although they had the weight, they are not mobile enough. On the other hand, Sudarshan Mututantri and his forwards, they did a tremendous job, Shanaga.
Yes, I think the issue was that Coach Inti Marika went with a particular game plan in mind. He went to try and out-scrum and out-shove the Havelocks team. And if you're playing Havelocks, that's the way you've got to take them on. You've got to take them on up front and hope that you can grind them down. But unfortunately for them, that didn't happen, because they couldn't hold on to the ball long enough. They couldn't generate enough possession. And Mututantri at number 8, and also his flankers, I thought Senal De Silva had an outstanding game also. They were really good, as was Situm Piris, carried the ball a lot. And unfortunately for Sia, what happened was Jason Disanaika, who was really good in the Army game, was a shadow of his former self. Havelocks were not letting him get the ball. He was not getting into positions where he could play So he's got to make an adjustment. He's been out of the game for a while. He's been playing a lot of sevens rugby. So he's got to learn those running lines of an open side flank, and he's got to relearn them almost, because he was a dominant player at Vidyarth Sabir, and now he's coming into a setup where he's not the dominant player. So he's got to relearn those skills and understand what his contribution to the team has to be in a 15-man game. So that's something that Coach Shamli Nawaz is going to have to give a lot of thought to as well. So that Rimji Jamaldin once again 14 points with his boot, and that was really good. But amazing play between those back three as well. Nishan Pereira, Jamaldin, and also Sandun Herath linking up, and Danushka Ranjan scoring probably the best try of the game.
In fact, we awarded the try of the week as Prasad Madhusankar's try from that line out where Mutatantri put a lovely offload to Prasad. But one more thing we noted is that Sashan Mohammed playing as a wing, he didn't get a ball, even a single touch in the very first half. I'm not sure whether he touched the ball in the second half as well.
I don't think he did for the whole game, and that was the problem. I think Sia tried to go wide a few times. They got picked off by that back row, and they didn't really have the same game plan that they executed in the last 10 minutes of the game. If they did that in the first 40 minutes, the game would have been completely different. But unfortunately, the aggression from a Sia point of view and the go forward at the collision was just not there for them, and that's something that they're going to have to go back and think about. But for Sia, it's a real problem because Sarindra Ratwate has got dengue fever, and I think that news came to them in the morning, so that would have had an impact on the camp as well. Kanchana Ramanayaka, probably their best back, has not been available for starting selection. So all these things combining to make Sia have a bit of a down week. I'm sure they'll bounce back in the next game. And then we had Candy scoring 63 points, as second half century in as many weeks against Air Force. 63 points, they managed to beat them, and Air Force managed to score only 12 points, and even scoring in the half as well. Candy scoring 32 points in the first half, and Air Force scoring only 6 points in the first half. But looking at the guys who are scoring the tries for Candy, it's going to be something that the other coaches are going to take notice of, because the tries are coming from the forwards, Sabir, and that's something we don't see from the Candy backs a lot. The Candy backs have been the best in the business for a long time, but now the forwards getting in on the act.
Absolutely, Heshan Kalhar again scoring 2 tries, and Suhiro Anthony scoring 2 tries. It'll be interesting once again, Shanaga, how Bilal Hassan and police forward Shara Fernando and them going to take this grudge encounter. But like you said, forwards as well as 3/4, there's a good combination. Even Richard Dharmapala, who didn't play the first match, he's coming into action along with Danush Dayan. And these 3/4 playing without Anuruddha Vilwar, who used to be a try machine, Shanaga.
Yeah, so imagine when all these guys come back. That's going to be a real problem for opposition teams. So police can't really focus their defensive patterns on the back line. They have to worry about the forwards as well. And what we noticed in the first week with Candy was the front row forwards, the tight 5 forwards, are handling the ball so well. That's going to make them a completely different side. So Sean Vijay Singh has, I think, got things right in the off-season. And that was something that Candy were a little worried about, that they weren't improving year on year. They were still good enough to win, but they weren't improving their performances. And that's happening this time around, so I'm sure they'll be very happy about that. So looking forward to next week, we have what used to be the blue ribbon of the rugby season, CHNFC versus CRNFC. That has slipped down to being a Friday game now, unfortunately, because CH are not the strongest team in the competition. CR will want a win after that loss to Havelocks last week. Then we've got Police versus Candy. That's going to be the match of the week for sure. That's going to be at Police Park, mind you, so you can get to see that Candy team play in Colombo for the first time. Army play Air Force, and given the last week's results, I think Army should win that easily at the Army grounds, Sabir. And then we have Navy taking on Havelocks. That's going to be an interesting one as well, because you're going to see Navy needing to bounce back from that loss. They can't afford to win a row.
That will be even more interesting is because 4 of the under 20 players for Havelocks are not going to play anymore for Havelocks until they finish the Asiad. So in the Navy squad, whereas only Umalka Gunaratne and Chatura Dilshan, who are the 2 forwards, played for Navy. So it'll be interesting to look at the bench strength, where who has the most. Like we said, Havelocks don't have the problem because they have Samantha Lakshan, as we discussed. So Jamal Dean can start, Samantha Lakshan can join in, probably even as a winger because Nishan Ferreira has to leave the field. So that'll be interesting, and we'll wait and see for that. And also, Riza Mubarak is the highest point scorer by week 2. He has 26 points, and Bilal Hassan has 5 tries to make the second highest point scorer has 25, and Gayan Salin the 18, and Heshan Kalhar, of course, for his 4 tries 20. So those are the first 4 we have at the moment. And until next time, I'm Sabir Kadir signing off at thepapare.com along with Shana Kamarasinghe.